Okay, so picture this. You're dreaming of white coats, but not just anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be a pharmacist in Egypt.
Okay.
What's it take?
Yeah.
What does that path look like? How do you even become a pharmacist in Egypt?
Yeah.
Well, today we're diving into Egyptian pharmacy education, and we've got this awesome insider guide for aspiring pharmacists.
Sounds fun. I think you're going to be surprised.
Yeah.
The Egyptian system, it's very interesting. It combines traditional pharmacy with all the new cutting-edge science. It's not just handing out pills anymore.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
So let's break this down. How does someone in Egypt actually become a pharmacist? What are the different routes they could take?
So there are, well, you could go the classic route.
Okay.
A 5-year bachelor's degree, except they call it a PharmD now.
R&D, go.
And then after that, a year of training.
So you get that real-world experience right away, right after the 5 years.
Yeah, got to have that practical experience, right. But it gets really interesting because they also have a 2-year PharmD program.
Oh, wow. So it's like a fast track.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very focused fast track program.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Who is that for? Is that for people who already have, like, some background in a related field, maybe?
That is a very good question, and to be honest, I'm not totally sure, but it seems like it'd have to be for people who've already had some experience, right?
Right.
To be able to jump into a 2-year program like that.
Yeah, it's super accelerated.
Of course, there's the master's and PhD track as well.
Of course, yeah, if you want to be, like, super specialized.
Right, exactly.
So a year and a half for a master's, which includes a thesis, and then a minimum of 2 years for a PhD.
Yeah.
Which is pretty standard for a PhD, I think.
It is.
You had mentioned earlier, though, about the specialized diplomas.
Yes.
This feels like where Egyptian pharmacy education really differentiates itself.
This is what's so cool about this system, is that they have this huge range of diplomas you can get.
Yeah.
So you can become very specialized very quickly.
It's like a whole buffet of pharmacy diplomas you can choose from.
It really is.
So I'm seeing industrial pharmacy, hospital pharmacy, those seem kind of standard.
Yeah.
But then we get into clinical pharmacy, quality control, cosmetics.
Oh,
Wait, cosmetics?
Mhm.
That's a pharmacy specialization?
Yes. And it doesn't stop there. There's medicinal plants, pharmacology, biochemistry, microbiology, organic synthesis. It's amazing.
So you could be at, like, a networking event,
Right.
and someone says, what do you do? You'd be like, oh, I'm a certified organic synthesis pharmacist.
Right.
Like, what? That's a conversation starter right there.
For sure.
Okay, so we've got all these people getting their diplomas.
Yeah.
They're graduating. They're ready to go out. What are they actually doing?
Right.
Let's break down the departments that are within these Egyptian pharmacy schools.
Okay, let's do it. I'm ready.
Okay, first up, pharmaceutical technology.
All right.
This sounds very official, very
It does sound high tech.
high-tech, yeah.
Like something out of a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, pharmaceutical technology is basically the how of pharmacy. So it dives into how drugs are made, how you go from a raw material to a pill or a solution or an injectable, whatever it may be. But it's not just the practical stuff either. They also look into the regulations.
Oh, right. The regulations. That's got to be important.
Extremely important to make sure that the drugs that get to patients are high quality and safe. And one of the big ones is GMP. Have you heard of that?
I have. Good manufacturing practices, right?
Exactly. And so that's basically a very rigorous set of rules to make sure that when a drug is made, it's made correctly every step of the way.
Right. You don't want any, like, messed up pills coming out.
No, definitely not.
It's all got to be uniform.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it sounds like pharmaceutical technology is really about making sure that all these medications, everything's produced with, like, precision and care.
It really is. That's a perfect way to describe it. It's a very critical field in pharmacy.
Okay, up next we have Pharmacognosy.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, so this one sounds like it could be a class at Hogwarts.
It does.
Like, are we about to brew some potions right now?
Maybe. But instead of cauldrons and magic wands, it's all about plants
Okay.
and their amazing ability to heal. So pharmacognosy is all about the study of plant and animal-based drugs, but particularly plants. It's really drawing on hundreds, thousands of years of traditional knowledge, really exploring what nature can give us in terms of medicine.
So we're talking, like, ancient herbal remedies, traditional medicines, things like that.
Exactly. Understanding how they were used, the history behind them, and how those can be applied today. And, Egypt, they have such a rich history of herbal medicine, so it's a really cool field to study there.
I bet. And they've got those scrolls, the ancient Egyptian scrolls that have all these plant-based remedies and stuff.
I know. It's
It
fascinating.
really is. So cool. So, yeah, pharmacognosy, bridging ancient wisdom with modern science. I love that.
Me too. It's a really important part of pharmacy, and it's great that they're teaching it at that level.
Okay, this next one. Pharmacology and toxicology. My brain immediately goes to, like, poisons.
I can see that.
Yeah.
It seems like that's everyone's first association.
It's like danger. Danger.
Mhm.
But I'm assuming it's a lot more than just poisons.
It's a lot more. It's really about understanding how drugs, or just any kind of substance, can affect us, and that goes for the good and the bad. How do those interact with living organisms?
Okay, so that's where you figure out, like, this is a safe dosage for a medication. These might be some side effects,
Sure.
right? And these are how drugs might interact with each other.
That's exactly it. Pharmacology, toxicology, it's all about finding that sweet spot. You want the benefits of the medication, but you want to minimize the risk.
It's like a dance between, the medicine and your body. Right.
That's a really great way to put it.
So we've talked about making sure that medications are produced safely, effectively.
Right.
We've talked about understanding how they work in the body. But how do we even know which drugs work for which conditions? And this is where I think biochemistry comes in. Like, how does that work?
So biochemistry, think of it as looking at your cells, like under a microscope, and figuring out the intricate mechanisms in each cell. Basically, all the chemical processes that are happening in your body, breaking down compounds, how they're being used, and it all influences our health.
So biochemistry is really helping us understand how our body processes these medications at, like, a molecular level.
Yes, exactly. And that's important for developing drugs and treatments.
Yeah.
Once you know how those processes work, you can target them very specifically to come up with treatments for different diseases. It's like having a roadmap of your cells.
And that roadmap is probably also really helpful for, like, personalized medicine, right? Because everyone's biochemistry is a little different.
Absolutely. That's the future of healthcare, right?
It is.
To be able to understand someone's genetic makeup, their specific biochemistry, and how they're going to respond to certain medications.
Yeah, because not everyone reacts the same way to the same medication.
Exactly. And then you can individualize their treatment. You can prevent disease, ideally, with that kind of information.
It's amazing.
It is. It's really exciting.
It is. It really is.
Oh.
Okay. So medicinal chemistry. This is where I feel like it's like the mad scientist part, right? Where they're like in the lab, they're creating the new drugs, the new potions, everything.
It's where chemistry and medicine collide.
Yeah.
So it's the designing, developing, and analyzing of new medications.
It sounds challenging, but so rewarding.
Oh, for sure. You're always on the cutting edge.
You are. Like, what are they working on now? I want to know.
Right. And it's not just one thing. It's actually several different specializations. It's really an umbrella term.
Oh, tell me more about the specializations, please. I'm ready to go deeper.
Okay, so you've got organic chemistry, and that's all about understanding, like, the building blocks of these molecules. You've got your carbon, your hydrogen, all these different elements coming together in these crazy structures. So you got to speak the language of molecules to work in this field.
Wow, so they really are, like, putting together these puzzles almost.
Right, molecular puzzles.
Creating these new drugs.
Exactly. And then once you have a potential drug, how do you know it's going to work? How do you know it's safe?
Right.
That's where analytical chemistry comes in.
Okay.
So these are the scientists that make sure that the drug is going to do what it's supposed to do. They analyze it, they test it, they make sure it's pure, it's stable. Super important stuff. Like, if they find something's wrong, they send it back to the organic chemists.
Right. Try again.
Yeah, exactly. Go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
And then you've got pharmaceutical chemistry, and this is really cool because this is where it goes from, like, the lab to the patient. So these chemists, they figure out the best way to actually give that drug to a person. Is it a pill, a liquid? Is it an injection?
Right.
Or even something super advanced like nanotechnology. They figure all that out.
That's incredible.
It is. It's really cool. They also look at how the body processes the drug, like how it gets absorbed, how it breaks down, all of that.
That's so interesting.
Wow.
So it's really taking that raw chemical compound and then making it into something that we can actually use. That's amazing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Medicinal chemistry is really complex. It's not just one thing.
Okay.
So we've been talking about molecules and cells, but I almost forgot. Some of our most important medicines come from the smallest organisms.
Yeah.
Bacteria and viruses.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget about the microbes.
Don't forget about them.
They play such a huge role.
They do. And this brings us to, I believe, microbiology, right?
Yeah.
Which, full disclosure, I have like a love-hate relationship with microbes. I'm fascinated by them, but they also kind of gross me out.
I get that.
I know. It's like, ooh, so small, so powerful. But also, ew. But they're essential, right? Like, we need them.
We absolutely do.
So microbiology, they're looking at bacteria, viruses, fungi, all the little things that can, like, mess us up.
Yes, all the little things that can wreak havoc on our systems.
Exactly. So this is where we're like, this is the front lines for antibiotics, antivirals, all of that.
Exactly. This is a huge part of fighting infectious disease.
Because how do you fight something that you don't even, like, understand, right?
Right. You have to know your enemy. So they're figuring out, how do these microbes work? How do they become resistant to drugs?
Right, because that's a big problem now, right? Antibiotic resistance.
It's a huge problem. It's something that these scientists, they're working on constantly. How do we stay one step ahead of these microbes?
Right, because they're evolving too.
Exactly. They're always evolving, so we have to evolve our strategies as well.
So microbiology, super important. Like, I knew it was important, but now I'm like, whoa, this is a big one.
Oh, for sure. I mean, when you think about it, pharmacy is so much more than just, here's your pill, now go away.
Right.
It's about really understanding these medications at a deeper level, how they work in the body, how we can use them to improve people's health.
Yes, so important. And speaking of improving people's health, I think this next department kind of brings us to that point. Pharmacy practice and clinical pharmacy.
Yes.
So now we're getting into the, like, real world patient care aspect of all this.
Yeah, taking all that knowledge, all that research, and actually applying it to patients.
Yeah. So this is where pharmacists go from, like, scientist to superhero.
I love that analogy. They really are, in a way. They use all their knowledge to make sure people are getting the best treatment possible.
So this is where that personalized medicine that we were talking about earlier, it's starting to happen here, right?
Exactly. So clinical pharmacists, they're working directly with patients, often with a whole team of healthcare providers, to figure out the best medication plan for each person. It's not just, here's your prescription, see you later. They really get to know the patient, their history, their lifestyle, all of that.
So they're like medication detectives almost.
100%.
Trying to make sure everything's working properly, no bad interaction.
Right. Because sometimes you need to adjust the dosage or try a different medication altogether. They're there to make sure the patient is getting the best possible outcome.
That's amazing. Like, it's like having your own personal medication guide. Okay, before we go too far, I do want to circle back to the diplomas. I'm still stuck on the fact that you can get a diploma in cosmetics as a pharmacist in Egypt.
It's pretty wild.
It's so cool. But it makes sense because as a pharmacist, you understand chemical compounds. You understand how to make things, how they work on the skin.
Exactly. It's a natural fit.
So what would someone with a diploma in cosmetics be doing?
Oh, all sorts of things. They could be developing new skincare products for a big cosmetics company. They could be researching ingredients to see if they actually work. Or they could even be working directly with clients, helping them figure out a skincare routine. The possibilities are really endless.
Wow.
And of course, there's a huge focus on safety, too. They have to make sure these products are safe for people to use.
Of course. You don't want to put, like, something dangerous on your skin, right?
Exactly. Your skin is your biggest organ, so you got to be careful with it.
Yeah. From the lab coat to the beauty counter, that is a wild career path.
It really is.
And then you've got the diploma in medicinal plants. And Egypt, with its history of herbal medicine, that was really fascinating to me.
Oh, the medicinal plants diploma. Now, that one is really cool. It's like you're taking that ancient knowledge, right?
All right. Yeah.
All those traditions, but you're giving it a modern twist. You're putting on your scientist hat, going into the lab, and really figuring out, how do these plants actually work?
So instead of just like, oh, this has been used for centuries, so it must be good, you're actually breaking it down.
Exactly. You're looking at the chemical makeup. What are the active compounds? Can we use those to create new treatments for all sorts of things? There's so much potential there.
It's like unlocking these secrets that these plants have held for who knows how long.
It really is. And who knows, maybe you discover something amazing. Maybe there's a plant extract that can help with some disease that we haven't been able to treat effectively.
Wow.
Think about the impact. That's incredible.
That would be huge. So after doing this deep dive, I have to say, my mind is blown. Pharmacy in Egypt, it's so much more than I thought it was. It's this whole world.
Right.
Like, I knew it was science-based, but the history, the different specializations.
And it's still evolving. It's so dynamic.
It is.
Yeah.
It feels like there's truly a place for everyone. Like, if you love research, go for it. If you love plants, there's a place for you. If you love working directly with patients, you can do that too.
Exactly. And these diploma diagrams, they make it so much easier to get that specialized knowledge and really stand out because you're an expert in something very
It's
specific.
like a fast track to becoming like the go-to person for whatever it is you're passionate about. So if anyone listening is like, maybe pharmacy is for me.
Don't ignore that feeling.
They all
Look into it because Egypt is really doing some amazing things in this field.
They are. It's like the perfect blend of the traditional and then all the new exciting advancements. Who knows? Maybe one of those diplomas, that's your path. That's your future right there.
It could be.
That's something to think about. Okay, everyone, that is it for our deep dive today. Keep those brains buzzing, and we will see you next time for more fascinating explorations.